Yeah. And it got to stop you feeling so low. And I decided quickly. Yes, I did. To just go down and check out the show. Yeah, but that's it. I said, and moving to the movement. And just when and hit somebody turn around and shout. I fucking music watching all that. But you know, music watching all that. Try to understand this. I thought that he's so foolish. Good. To not see I was the one behind. So still I kept on fighting. Well, losing every step of the way. I said I must go back there. Got to go back and check to see if things still the same. Yeah, better stand and moving to the movement. Just when somebody was angry. Changing rock and roll. Things were getting shaky. I thought I'd have to leave it behind. Now it's so much better. So much better. I'm fucking out of here about your way. I won't lose that feeling. You know I won't. Of how I learned my lesson today. What you know what I said? Singing and moving to the red and just wait and get somebody turn around. Or check what I call. Should I? It's not I to get up. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to another live Radical Republican show. I'm on a new system tonight. I'm thinking the music was a little choppy from what I'm understanding. I hope y'all can hear me fine. This is what happens when you get in another system, when your old system just cranks out on you. So let me know if you can hear me okay. Let me know if the music is choppy. But welcome, welcome. Thank you all for tuning in. Hope y'all had a great week. So we're just going to get started here in a little bit. Had a lot going on this week. A lot going on this week. And we're going to tackle it just like we do here: unscripted, unedited, uncensored, unfiltered, unapologetic, and the Lion's Den here in the Lion's Den. So you guys let me know. 5-5. But there we go, Carolyn. Thank you very much. We 5-5 on my sound, even though the music, I think I have to get a different connector for this soundboard and for my phone where the sound comes through. I think it's probably outlived its usefulness, so I'll have to get another. So we 5-5 on the sound. Thank you for tuning in. So just checking the chat. I see you all over there. I see you, Pure Blood. I see you. Who else is that a bit? My brother's keeper. Thank you for tuning in. Hey, I saw you on Wednesday, or was it Thursday? No, it was Thursday. My brother's keeper was in the Lion's Den when I was on the Hood Conservative with Laverne Spicer on Thursday. Thank you all for tuning in for that. So we're getting in. I see you, Flex. Where my man TBB at tonight? Is TBB on the road? TBB is always in here. Hey, share the show out over there on Getter. Share it out on Rumble. If you're watching on Rumble, let me check on the spaces on Rumble. I see you guys over there. Thank you for tuning in. And as you can see, next to my name, you got my Cash App and my Venmo. If you like the content, like the show, show me some love. Thank you for those that have shown the love. I really appreciate that. Hey, I can maybe I can hire a producer. Maybe I can hire a producer, Pure Blood, to make sure my sound is always right. Always right. But we're going to kick it off. But first, I'm going to kick it off with, I'm going to put a link in the chat here. Hold up. Actually, I have to find the link to put in the chat because it's for my sponsor for tonight. Well, one of the sponsors for tonight. I have to go through here and get that. But so what do you guys think about the Obama thing, right? No, we're gonna talk about that, and we're definitely gonna hit that up a little bit. And, of course, I can't find the bookmark now, right? Jeez. So I'm on a new system, new computer, and everything. So a different one, a different computer. So let me find out how to find the bookmarks here a little bit. But I'm gonna pop this in here for you all so you can dashboard. All right, here we go. I'm gonna put this in the chat because I think this is very, very important for you guys, especially those that may have diabetes or family members with diabetes. I want you guys to go to this website. All right, I'm gonna stick it straight in the chat. All right, all the chat. So that's what I'm doing. I'm putting it all in the chat. So let me hit everybody up with this so you all can know what I'm talking about. Y'all can go there as well because it's healthcare. Very, very inexpensive healthcare, especially if you have diabetes, because we teach you what happens. All right, so here it is. It's U.S. Diabetes Care. So because we are in a diabetes epidemic here in the United States, our country is caused by the addition of processed foods. Hopefully, RFK is going to get all that junk out of our foods, such as high fructose corn syrup. You look at it, high fructose corn syrup is in everything. And of course, I try to avoid that, and I avoid it as much as possible. But I'm an ice cream nut, so sometimes I have to. If I go and get some Breyers ice cream, it doesn't have that good. It doesn't have that stuff. So anyway, the refined sugar and refined wheat into our diets many years ago. The American Diabetes Association states it's a nationwide epidemic that affects
over 38 million people in our country, and that's way too many. But we know that my dad had diabetes. I know it's a lot of people in my family have diabetes. U.S. Diabetes Care is a mission-driven health education company focused on ending the diabetes with epidemic. I might as well show my screen here, and I'll show you what I'm talking about as well while I scroll through. All right, so I'm gonna share that with you all. And so who is U.S. Diabetes Care? And what do we do? We don't sell a product. We teach a process. Our mission is to educate, empower, and transform lives by helping individuals reverse prediabetes, type 2 and type 3, and gestational diabetes and insulin resistance, not just manage them. Over 90% of those who complete the program show measurable improvements, and many reverse their condition entirely. Why we're different, why it works. Unlike most diabetes programs that focus on the disease management, we focus on reversal. We don't promote a future of lifelong medications, blood sugar monitoring, and constant doctor visits. We help people treat the root cause, not just the symptoms, so they can take back control of their health. And US Diabetes Care, we launched an app, and this is basically what the app is too. Okay. Um, you can go through here, so you just scroll through, and I think my app might be a little behind because I think it's up to $120 now, to be honest. I mean, because they had a special for people, but it's $10 a month. It's $10 a month, and you see the sessions. You learn about diabetes. Session 2, the truth about carbs. You have all these, and it's a great doctor. And then now he's not that guy just going to wow you. He's one of those doctors who teach you about healthcare, but it's very, very good. I went through these sessions, and they're very, very good. So you're understanding fats, differentiating proteins, understanding oxidative stress, the role of genetics that it plays, and it's not um, it's not genetic as much genetic as you think, actually. The brain health and beyond the brain. We're talking about type 3 diabetes here. We're talking about, the pre-dementia and the dementia, okay, and the Alzheimer's is coming out. That's type 3 diabetes, pretty much. And optimal diabetes care. So go ahead and sign up, guys. You just go in there if you want to optimize diabetes care. You got health improvement. We use an online e-learning platform. I mean, you got specialty services, you got a BrainView, you got a Vital Scan, you got US Direct Care. So I'm just going through some of these things. You can go and and get help, and then they have telehealth care, telemedicine, and it tells you all about it. All right, so I would go check it out if you or someone you love have diabetes, or if you have pre-diabetes. I think this would be I think, yeah, there it is, 120. Yeah, I know it showed. I had to update the app. Well, the page, but it's 120 a year. It's $10 a month for the app, and you learn and you get all these services for $10 a month. Wound care. I mean, and I had a friend of mine, my best friend's brother. He had diabetes, and he got an infection in his foot, and they had to cut off his leg all the way up to his knee because of the wound care. Okay, so they teach you about the wound care expert wound care services. Tells you about a bunch of these things. The venous leg ulcers. I think that's what he had. He had it in his foot. So he had to get it amputated. Unfortunately, but it teaches you all about this. So I think diabetes is one of those things that help. If it can help you get off the medication, help you get off the insulin, help you get the care that you need, and I think it's worth it. So we had to sign up. I threw the link in the chat group, so you guys go check it out on your own. All right, go people out. I appreciate it. And don't forget, y'all hit that Cash App and that Venmo. Put a lot of time into these things. Bring you the show. So like I say, if you like the content, go ahead and show some love. So what we're going to start with first, because I know the big thing is the Obama thing. Okay, the major thing is the Obama thing. Truthfully, I think, and one of the major things. But I have a different perspective on that. as well. I have a total different perspective on that, and I'm going to share that with you tonight too. But first, I want to make sure that, hey, Susan, how are you? Susan had a big day today. Um, uh, actually, she had a really big day. So, um, God bless you. Hope you're getting some rest, Susan. Hope you're getting some rest. But I don't want anyone to forget about the Epstein thing, and you know they're gonna try to pivot away. Okay, I'm gonna play some clips, and we're not gonna let it go. Okay, I said last week we're not gonna let it go. We got Representative Massey that's not gonna let it go. He's sponsoring a bill. Okay, he's sponsoring an HR bill to require the Attorney General to release all documents. You know, I think we kept the pressure on President Trump. You know, and everyone knows that I support President Trump, supported him, and still do, even though you know he may not support us, and I may not want our support anymore. But you know, from that post that he made on Truth, but Representative Massey, and he has like 15 or 20 co-sponsors on this bill now. Um, you know, and I think that's part of it. You know, we had people that would, you know, that called us, you know, agitators of MAGA or whatever. I think, you know, and it lays out Jeffrey Epstein, including all investigations, prosecutions, or custodial matters. Ghislaine Maxwell flight logs, individuals, including government officials, named or referenced in connection. So Massey's bill lays, I mean, it goes deep. You know, internal DOJ communications, we got entities, corporate, nonprofit, academic. So it goes deep. So I think what happened is that we kept the pressure. Okay. We didn't bow to MAGA cult. Okay. I think true MAGA kept the pressure on me. You got Tucker Carlson, they were going after. Now they're going after Candace Owens. You know, they come after me all the time. You know, because I'm just not that go along to get along guy. You know, group guy, and of course Massey isn't either. You know, Massey is. You know, Trump has actually put $1 million down in Kentucky, $1 million ad buy to try to remove one of the most conservative, if not the most conservative member of Congress there is, even though they call Massey a liberal. Massey is the most conservative member of Congress we have. And just because he don't agree, he doesn't bow down and kiss the ring. And he actually does what his constituents put him in office to do. And he doesn't agree with Trump on everything. Trump is going after him, you know, and I don't think that's cool. So permitted withholdings, you know, I'm just going through a little bit of the bill. I hope you guys can see that up there. No record share. And here's the thing: they're trying to delay this until they leave in August, because I think they have a recess in August. What are they recessing for? Anybody tell me that? What the hell is Congress recessing for? They're hardly ever at work anyway, right? They're hardly at work anyway, you know. So what the hell are they recessing for? But anyway, I guess it's just that time. But you know, they passed I think is not a big beautiful bill. I think we're gonna get screwed. Yeah, there's some good things in that bill, but the overall, and I don't think so. So all decisions to classify any covered information after July 1st. And of course, he put this out in June. So report to Congress within 15 days of completion. So I don't know if this is going to get done, but he has more sponsors on the bill. And so I hope Massey can get that done. I just want to pop this up, what Trump was saying, because they're trying to pivot, okay? And we can't let them pivot. You know, I didn't appreciate this, and I don't think General Flynn did either. I'm actually going to put something up from General Flynn and read that too. But you know, I didn't really appreciate this tweet from, and I don't even know, President Trump didn't write this. Somebody did. He didn't write. Of course, you know, people control his social media. You know, they write his copy, you know, and things like that. So, you know, of course, President Trump and his crew, they're blaming the radical left Democrats, you know, just like with the fake and fully discredited Steele dossier. Okay, the Lion 51 agent. So he goes into that. The Dems would sort of come to Russia. Yeah, we're going to get to that. And we all knew that was a scam, right? And used Crooked Hillary, blah, blah, blah. Scams and hoaxes, they're no good. So now, he wants to call this Jeffrey Epstein thing a hoax, and I don't believe it is. I think a lot. I don't believe he is either. So he said their new scam is what we'll forever call the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. In my past, he says past supporter. So I guess we can't support him if we don't believe that Epstein, that this is a scam. And we all know. I mean, there's so much information out there on Epstein. And if this is a scam, and if the Epstein thing is a hoax, then I guess Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison for what? For what? Maybe just, they said that she just took kids to Epstein. It's much, much more than that. And this goes so deep. I mean, this goes all the way back to Epstein's, to Bob Barr's father and Epstein's father. All these people are connected, with these, the CIA, the Mossad, you have business, you got Jeffrey Epstein that was, you got Lutnick and Jeffrey Epstein. I think they were neighbors. They were like best friends, and all these people, are in Trump's camp. Like say you got Lutnick that's there all the time. So, and then you have people coming out, right? You have people coming out and want to say that like this anonymous clip. I'm gonna play this, but there's a lot of people saying this. So let me play this, and actually, I'm gonna play that.
Mr. President, I know you want to move past all this intrigue over the Epstein files, but I do want to ask you to clarify something you said this morning. You said this was all a hoax. Has your Attorney General told you this was a hoax? What evidence have you seen?
No, it's not the Attorney General. No, I know it's a hoax. It's started by Democrats. It's been run by the Democrats for 4 years. You had Christopher Wray and these characters, and Comey before him, and. It's a bad group. It started, actually, look at the Steele dossier that turned out to be a total hoax. The 51 agents, the intelligence, so-called intelligence agents, it was a hoax. It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats. And some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net. And so they try and do the Democrats' work. The Democrats are good for nothing other than these hoaxes. They're bad for policy. They're bad for picking candidates that can get elected. Like in New York, we have a communist running. He may get elected too, actually, but he'll destroy the city. No, it's I call it the Epstein hoax. It takes a lot of time and effort. Instead of talking about the great achievements, we've had a great gentleman yesterday, as you know, went on CNBC and he made the statement that Trump may go down as the greatest president of all in the United States. And instead of talking about the things we've achieved, we've had tremendous achievement. They're wasting their time with a guy who obviously had some very serious problems, who died 3-4 years ago. I'd rather talk about the success we have with the economy, the best we've ever had, and all of the things we've done, including the Middle East. I mean, you see it. Instead, they want to talk about the Epstein hoax. And the sad part is it's people that are really doing the Democrats' work. They're stupid people. Yeah, go ahead.
I see. Well, here's the thing. And here's the problem with that, Mr. President. You ran on that hoax. You ran on that hoax. You ran to expose and declassify Jeffrey Epstein, the list. Do you remember that? Do you remember that? Here, let me refresh your memory.
Classified the 9/11 files.
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah.
Would you,
I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world. But I think I would.
There's a moment where you had some hesitation about Epstein, releasing some of the documents on Epstein. Why the hesitation?
I don't think I mean, I'm not involved. I never went to his island, fortunately. But a lot of people did.
Why do you think so many smart, powerful people allowed him to get so close?
He was a good salesman. He was, was a hale and hearty type of guy. He had some nice assets that he'd throw around, like islands. But a lot of big people went to that island. But fortunately, I was not one of them.
It's just very strange for a lot of people that the list of clients that went to the island has not been made public.
Yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? Probably will be, by the way. Probably.
So if you're able to, you'll be.
Yeah, I'd certainly take a look at it. Now, Kennedy's interesting because it's so many years ago. You know, they do that for danger too, because, you know, endangers certain people, et cetera, et cetera. So Kennedy is very different from the Epstein thing. But yeah, I'd be inclined to do the Epstein. I'd have no problem with it.
That's great to hear.
You know, it's the same thing with Epstein's list. It's like, what the hell are these Republicans doing? Oh,
I saw you
give out the list.
I saw you make news this morning about that. I got to get to that.
Yeah.
You say that the FBI has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. That seems like an evil thing to do, regardless of who may be embarrassed in the release of that list. Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list. You don't think that Bill Gates is lobbying Congress night and day to prevent the disclosure of that list? And why is it that the Senate, you know, and good for Senator Blackburn to try to get it out, but then Dick Durbin comes over the top and says, no, we're not going to release the names. I don't care about the list itself, but if release the names, right? What the hell are the House Republicans doing? They have the majority.
So obviously, it's not a hoax, right? Am I, like, you know, mistaking what he said, right? And what he said, what Cass said. So obviously, it's not a hoax. So why are Republicans and the administration trying to push it as a hoax? Because obviously, it's not a hoax. What is the hoax? Is the hoax that, you know, the Democrats put something in there or didn't put something in there because they had a chance to release the list too, and they didn't, or what, right? You know, we want to know, and the people want the list. We still want the list, want the videos. I mean, because Pam Bondi did say that it was on her desk, right?
Files on your desk. When can we see them, and what's taking so long to release them?
I do, Jesse. There are well over this will make you sick. 200 victims. 200. So we have well over 250 actually. So we have to make sure that their identity is protected and their personal information. But other than that, I think tomorrow, you know, the personal information of victims. Other than that, I think tomorrow, Jesse, breaking news right now, you're going to see some Epstein information being released by my office.
What kind? Are we going to see who was on the flights? Are we going to see any evidence from what he recorded? Because he had all of his homes wired with recording devices.
Yeah. What you're going to see, hopefully tomorrow, is a lot of flight logs, a lot of names, a lot of information. But it's pretty sick what that man did.
Okay. Well, we'll
along
look for
with his
that.
co-defendant.
Absolutely. And he had help. That's for
He
sure.
sure did.
All right, so obviously, it's not a hoax. It's not a hoax. And of course, Pam Bondi, you know, that was, of course, that you know, Friday or the tomorrow didn't come. The tomorrow didn't come. What they did, they staged this, you know, that's big, I guess, you know, with the binders. They had, you know, some of these influencers, and I discussed this on the show before, but we have to keep touching on it. You know, we have to keep this in the forefront because we can't let the Obama stuff, okay, that they're, you know, putting out there on a Friday. You notice how the big stuff always come out on a Friday, right? Because they want it out there on Friday so they can go, you know, go to it on Monday and they can try to sweep everything else under the rug and not talk about it. And it's our duty. I think it's our duty, you know, for these kids, right? For the kids that have been hurt, and these women and these young girls and boys that have been hurt by what Epstein did and all of the people that was part of it. That was part of it. And we know there were many. We know there's video. They said it right there. You know, oh, the video, he had all of his houses. All of his houses had cameras. And people were there doing some pretty violent things. And of course, you know, they got these laptops, right? They got laptops from everybody. You know, we still haven't seen what was on Wiener's laptop that supposedly made 9 New York City police officers commit suicide. The ones that supposedly had seen the information, some of them that had seen the information on Wiener's laptop. You guys have forgotten about that, right? On Wiener's laptop, supposedly made them so sick. Some of them went out and vomited and made them commit suicide. But we know it probably was more like Arkansas or Clinton side or something like that, right? But what would make, what could they see so bad on Wiener's laptop that he only spent, what, 14 months in jail or some shit like that, right? That could make them commit suicide. That's just on one laptop. You got Uma's laptop. You got Seth Rich's laptop with probably a bunch of DNC information. That's why he was murdered. You got Hunter's laptop. And now you got, all these videos from Jeffrey Epstein and Pam Bondi's own words. They were victims. They were victims, but now they're trying to say, oh, well, it was just downloaded. See, here's where you catch these people in lies, right? She says there were 250 victims and there were sick things that he did, right? And now that, he's trying to come back and say, oh, it was just downloaded child porn. Well, if it was just downloaded child porn, then there wouldn't be Epstein victims, right? There wouldn't be Epstein victims. Let me play this clip by Ben Shapiro, because Ben Shapiro is in my belief, my opinion, is a Mossad agent, works for the Daily Wire. Candace Owens started telling the truth about the Jews in Israel and the Israeli government, and they fired her. But this guy is definitely an Israeli Mossad. So this is what they're trying to pass off now for Epstein.
There are, by the way, but they are child pornography. The reason the FBI is not releasing them is because those tapes do not include underage people with third parties on Epstein Island. That is not what the tapes are. Okay? I also have sources in the federal government who are covering this stuff and have seen the documents. Okay, those tapes are just child porn. That's all. That's what they are. That's why the FBI is not releasing them. Okay, as far as the Epstein list, what I have been told by my sources is that there is no Epstein list, that basically there's a black book of Jeffrey Epstein contacts. And the vast majority of those contacts are already out there publicly. That's why names like Prince Andrew or Alan Dershowitz or some of the names that have been mentioned here. Those contacts, there is no evidence, according to the DOJ and the FBI, and again, that's public. There's no evidence that any of those third parties were having girls trafficked to them. Here is Tucker then asserting that it was actually Mossad. Again, without evidence, not a shock. Of course, this is where Tucker was going. This has become the hot speculation on the internet, is without evidence. You say that Mossad was running Jeffrey Epstein. When I say without evidence, I mean without evidence. Naftali Bennett, the former Israeli prime minister, said, quote, "As a former Israeli prime minister, with the Mossad having reported directly to me, I say to you with 100% certainty, the accusation that Jeffrey Epstein somehow worked for Israel or the Mossad running a blackmail ring is categorically and totally false. This accusation is a lie being peddled by prominent online personalities such as Tucker Carlson, pretending they know things they don't." And in fact, I followed up with the former Prime Minister, Naftali Bennett, and what he told me is that Mossad has not been active in the United States against the United States since the Jonathan Pollard scandal of 1987, when a U.S. Army contractor who's actually working for the Navy revealed classified information to the Israeli government. He was prosecuted by the United States government and ended up in prison for almost 30 years. And so Israel since then has not spied on the United States with.
Since Jonathan Pollard, let me ask you a question. Who are you going to believe? Who are you going to believe? An ex-prime minister of Israel, Ben Shapiro, or Tucker Carlson? Who are you going to believe? Who are you going to believe, man? I mean, there's nothing on this video. It's just downloaded child porn. Okay. Well, my question is, if it was just downloaded child porn, that means that there were no victims, right? Am I making sense or not? Am I just losing my mind or what? Right? If there were no victims and it was just downloaded child porn and there was no list, right? We have the picture of Prince Andrew on the plane with his arms wrapped around Jennifer Giuffre or whatever her name was as a girl. What are you talking about? Ben Mossad agent Shapiro? Shit, for all I know, he had my cousin fucking trafficked, the one that was taken in traffic. For all I know, it was around that time Jeffrey Epstein was doing that stuff. So it's like, so they're trying to run this game on you, trying to run the memory hole, trying to run the game that, oh, there's no list, but here it is. Here's Pam Bondi again. Let's see what she says this time.
The president said today you would release credible files related to Mr. Epstein. Are you prepared to do that, and when would you?
Our memo today, our memo speaks for itself, and we'll get back to you on anything else. I haven't seen all of his statements today. Thank you.
How would you respond to the MAGA base that has expressed a lot of frustration?
We're going to fight to keep America safe again, and we're fighting together as a team. That's what's so important right now. You know, we've got a war on drugs. We've got a war on human trafficking. We've got cartels in this country, and we are going to do. We've got foreign adversaries around this world as well, and we're all going to work together as a team to fight to keep America safe again. And I can tell you, that's what we're all committed to.
Taglines, man. They give you taglines. Keep America safe again. You guys know they know who's on the video. They know who's on the video. And of course, you guys haven't heard this Democrat senator. I'm laughing because of what he says at the end, but I'll play this. But he says there's money trail with the Treasury. So if it's a hoax, how is there money trail with the Treasury?
There is an Epstein file down there at the Treasury Department, and it ought to be used as the foundation for a.
Okay, the first one, they have a file specifically with Epstein's name on it. A file at the U.S. Treasury with his name. It's so big. Here, I'll let him finish.
Followed the money investigation. The reality is, you build a sex trafficking operation of the size that we know this was, there's a tremendous amount of money moving, and it ought to be followed up to see how it was handled.
Can you sort of touch on just the key findings in this most recent tranche of revelations that you guys have put out?
Well, the key finding, of course, is that this is all about sex trafficking, and you can't run a sex trafficking operation of this size without an enormous amount of money. And what we have shown is there are very substantial questions about whether that money was handled in an ethical and honest way.
The money was handled in an ethical and honest way for sex trafficking. And sex trafficking honest and ethical at all? But they want to just make sure the money, it was handled honestly and ethically for sex trafficking. Man, is that a hoax? Is that a hoax? Is that file at Treasury with Epstein's name on it a hoax too? You know, I just can't let it go, man, because I think about my cousin, man. I think about my cousin when she was kidnapped and trafficked. And so, and all these, I don't believe she was taken to Epstein Island, but sex trafficking is sex trafficking. And to just shit on these kids and these people whose lives obviously were destroyed by what happened. And kids are still going through this. And you have these billionaires, millionaires, these top level leaders of these countries and the princes and stuff. I mean, they go and they're hurting. They fly overseas to do this stuff to these kids. They fly overseas to do that, and they know who they are. They've been on Epstein Island. They've been on Lolita Express, I think Bill Clinton like 37 times or something like that. Right. Lily B says, definitely. Money is never handled ethically when it comes to dirty and to these dirty individuals. And that's what I'm saying. So how can he fix his mouth to say that? Literally, how can he fix his mouth to say that? Unbelievable. Just totally unbelievable. So, I mean, so I'm not going to let it go. And I don't think General Flynn, a friend of mine, took kindly to what President Trump said as well. I'm going to share this screen real quick. I'm going to share this tweet of General Flynn. I'm going to read it if you don't mind, but it's a little lengthy. But General Flynn, at Real Donald Trump, I hesitate to write this, however, with the utmost respect and deference to you and all you withstood. Few know it better than me what the deep state can do when they want to turn on a person. The Epstein affair is not about who killed him or if he committed suicide personally. I'm glad this known pedophile is dead. I have to disagree with you, General Flynn. I tend to believe that Jeffrey Epstein is definitely alive and he's in the place where he cannot be extradited, where all pedophiles go to not be extradited, and that is Israel. But neither is this a hoax. Thank you, General Flynn. The issue goes beyond that. There are millions of Americans who overwhelmingly voted for you to be our president, and we want you to be massively successful. No one more than me. Personally, I still have a target on my forehead. I know that, but like you, I still fight. Beyond all that, our country is facing a level of internal subversion, and it's a relentless attack on the very foundation of our constitutional republic. If you're not successful, our country may not survive. And this is true. It is that extreme of a situation we currently face. Read Lincoln's Lycum speech of 1838. He knew, as you know, and as we all can see with our very eyes, our nation will die from a foreign foe. Never. If we die, it will be by our own suicide. There's an ongoing undermining by subversive elements inside and outside the USG that is the essence of the deep state, which we all know. Remember when they used to say, you know, when we talk about the deep state, oh, you guys are conspiracy theorists. There's no such thing as the deep state. Conspiracy theorists are still undefeated, by the way. Totally still undefeated. All we want at this stage is for the modicum of trust to be reestablished between our federal government and the people it is designed to serve. That's all, period. An element that is of great importance surrounding this Epstein affair is the fact that this man was a known pedophile and had a list of clients who represented the upper crust of society and likely did untoward things to children on his island. I think it's supposed to be untold things to children on his island, in his homes in New York City and New Mexico, and maybe elsewhere. He was convicted of it. Thank you. Along with his partner, Ghislaine, have you surname Maxwell? She's in jail for something. Regardless of what class of society abuses and commit crimes against children, it's never acceptable. This is where this argument went off the rails. It is not about Epstein or the left. It's about committing crimes against children. If he were a part of an intel operation known or run by our CIA, shame on them, and those responsible must be held accountable. If there is another country involved, then shame on them as well. Say it, Israel. Say it, General Flynn. There is another country involved, is Israel. Say it. Okay? Say it. And I know why you're not saying it, but say it. Okay? If there are elites inside of our country that committed crimes against children, shame on them, and they must be held accountable at the highest levels, at the lowest levels. All of them must be held accountable. All of them. This is what we're talking about. This is why we can't let it go, because it's about these kids. It's about these children that can't defend themselves and the things that happen to these kids. If you know how many crystal balls you jug on a daily basis, I do. And I know you cannot drop any of them. With my strongest recommendation, please gather your team and figure out a way to move past this. The rollout of this was terrible. I agree. And no way around that. Americans want America to be successful. Therefore, we need you to be successful. Please take this missive as though coming from someone who willingly and voluntarily fought for this country against multiple enemies overseas, only to come home to face my greatest enemy right here at home. You know precisely what I mean, obviously. God bless you and God protect you, continue to protect you from the dark forces that do exist. I believe you were put on this earth for such a time as this. You truly represent Isaiah 6:8. Well said, General Flynn. Well said, General Flynn. But hey, man, I mean, that's what it's about. This is what it's about, man. And we have to do this. We have to get to the bottom of this. And, we have, people like Jack Posovic. He came out, man, and was like, hey, man, I got caught. I haven't seen anybody else do this but Poso, right? I think Liz Wheeler tried to do it on her show, but it was like after the fact. But here's what Poso said. I mean, this is what a lot believe too.
Was brought to the White House for a series of policy briefings, and along with a number of other conservative individuals, Mike Cernovich is there, Scott Pressler was there, Sav Hernandez, the great Liz Wheeler, DC Drano, just lives of TikTok. Everybody knows these guys. And we were told that we were going to be meeting with a group of cabinet secretaries. We met with Secretary Rubio, with Secretary Kennedy, the great Bobby Kennedy. We met with Vice President, and even the President himself actually did us the incredible honor of visiting. But then when AG Bondi came in, she brought with her this set of binders and said, hey guys, you all want the Epstein files, right? And we're sort of looking around going, well, no one said anything about Epstein on the agenda today, but sure, we all want to know that. We were familiar with the story, and we'd love to see them. And then she directs her staff and says, well, guys, here's the Epstein files, phase 1, and I'm giving it directly to you. And then immediately after that, we don't really have time to go through these are huge binders with all these names in them. And, we can't quite figure out whether this is new stuff or old stuff. And it turned out it was all old stuff. These things were full of baloney. But then right after that, we get pushed out through the portico entrance of the West Wing, right where the entire international media was assembled for Keir Starmer's visit. And so we have all of these pictures of us with these binders that at that point we were told that they were under embargo, that we couldn't look into them, we couldn't report about them, we couldn't even get it out there. So again, if people want to talk about where did the hype come from, where was the hype train? Well, it's again, this was the way that it was rolled out. And we were always told that there's going to be phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. So by the time I actually looked through it, it took a couple of minutes to sit down and say, wait a minute, this stuff is already out before. Where's the rest of it? We kept being told over and over that more was coming, that it hadn't been declassified yet. And it was just a complete break of trust, a complete and absolute break of trust, especially for, a group of people like us who, look, we were invited there and we came because we wanted to help. We came because we wanted to show support. We wanted to do what we do every day. But more importantly, we wanted to get justice for the victims and actually justice for the girls who were involved here. So, what can I say? People ask, oh, are you angry? So yeah, I'm very angry. I'm very angry because, I feel like I was used for a political stunt.
So to me, that was the hoax. To me, that's the hoax. What Bondi did to post on these, of course they got invited there, whatever. They were all happy. Yeah, I'm going to see. I think they knew they were going to get the Epstein supposedly list or whatever. Whatever. He makes seem like they didn't. I mean, and he may not have. I don't know. But, he came out and said that he got duped. He was duped. That was the hoax. If there was any hoax, what Bondi did to them was a hoax, I believe. And so and this is why we have to keep keep the pressure on, man. This is why we have to keep the pressure on. And Carolyn says, I'm gonna put this up on the screen, Carolyn. There was a picture on the internet of Richard Branson and Obama in a boat. I remember that. I saw that. They say Obama was getting a BJ. Now, I don't know if I saw that or not, but by an 8 or 10-year-old girl that looked Asian. So, Carolyn says she saw that on the internet. I do remember seeing Richard Branson and Branson on a boat. I didn't see the picture of the girl. The girl, I think, was on the boat or something, from what I remember. But I don't know what was going on the boat. Okay. This is one of the best reporters out here, Patrick Howley. Patrick Howley, if you guys don't follow Patrick Howley on X, I think you guys do. I think you guys need to follow Patrick Howley on X. And I lost something. Because he's one of the few. He's one of the few that he breaks a lot of stories before a lot of people do, right? No, he's not one of the wokies or anything like that. He's definitely not one of those. I'm looking for something on my computer that I need to load up. But he's definitely not one of those. I'm gonna play a clip real quick of Patrick Howley, and he breaks it down too.
Became a Department of Defense contractor. The guy who was running Metabiota is named Nathan Wolf. Okay, Nathan Wolf was a partner of Ghislaine Maxwell on the Terramar project. Ghislaine Maxwell, of course, the daughter of Israeli spy Robert Maxwell. Jeffrey Epstein got into the whole network by managing money at Bear Stearns in the 70s for Edgar Bronfman, who happens to be the father of Claire and Sarah Bronfman of the Nexium cult, which was giving kids fake visas to take them up over the border and put them into child sex slavery. And meanwhile, at that cult, they were branding women in a way that they wanted it to be like satanic rituals. And there were missing women from that cult, by the way. Meanwhile, Sarah Bronfman was going to become the first lady of Libya after Muammar Gaddafi's downfall. Meanwhile, 2 of Ghislaine Maxwell's nephews worked for the Obama-Biden people for the administration, including in the Obama-Biden White House, and one at the Obama-Biden White House and one at the Hillary Clinton State Department, working on Libya during the time of Benghazi. So this is all interconnected. These people have been running the world. They're behind everything. You can see that picture of Kevin Spacey with Ghislaine Maxwell. It's like there's no relief from it. These famous people, these celebrities, these rich people, I mean, they're all connected to it. And Ye, who has really been speaking the truth about this, said that his own mother was sacrificed, presumably to send him a message. This is a network of satanic power. Why was the book of Enoch cut out of the Bible? The book of Enoch, which tells the story about the Nephilim. Meanwhile, these people believe that they're still descended from the Nephilim fallen angel bloodlines, but they don't want that to be known, right? But they believe that, the British royal family and the rest of them. And we know what happened with Prince Andrew getting involved with this.
So they just think that gives them a right to kidnap and rape children because they think they're aliens or something?
Well, they certainly believe that they're above the rest of us. They believe that they're above the rest of us, and that what they do to us, what they do to the cattle class, they don't see anything wrong with it. They don't see anything immoral about it. And you have to ask, where are these kids really going? And how much blood is being spilled, and what's happening to the blood?
You know who used to ask that question? Michael Jackson used to ask that question all the time. He used to sing about that. Where all the lost children go? It's funny how that turned on him.
Where are the missing children? These kids have to be going somewhere, right? And we know from things that some of us who research and go out and read things and look at things, we know for a fact these kids are being sacrificed at these rituals. I mean, it was a Aberdeen's computers, something about Hillary Clinton, frazzle drip or something, man. They pulling skin off face, and they saw that. And I think that was on Wiener's computer. That's part of Wiener's computer as well, and that's what made these police officers commit suicide, because the shit was just so bad to look at. Supposedly. And, people talk about Democrats wanting this list out now because they say, oh, Trump must be on it or something. Here's where the part where I think Trump is talking about the hoax, because they say that the list and everything is corrupted, and well, here's the thing, the video is not. You can put any name on the list, stick anything there, you can tell. I mean, you can see the corruption. You can tell if names got entered on a list or whatever. But you have the video. They took video and it just wasn't downloaded porn, and Ben Shapiro. It just wasn't downloaded porn because they say Epstein, they had victims. Everybody's talking about victims. So it wasn't just downloaded porn that they took. I wonder, do anyone actually believe that? Do anyone actually believe that it was just downloaded porn? Because why did Epstein get convicted if it was just downloaded porn? Because they use those videos, right? They use those videos because that's how they saw really what happened, and they know who's on those lists. And like I said last week on the show, I think President Trump is not on the list because they would have used it in 2016, 2020, to destroy him if he was on the list. But he has friends on that list. That's why he wanted to move on from it, I think. And now, hey, he flip-flopped. Okay, yeah, so we're going to release it. And he said credible. Okay, so, and they use these words, these linguistic programming words. Yeah, I told Pam Bondi to go ahead and release any credible information. So who's going to determine if it's credible? Pam Bondi? I mean, you said that you declassified everything, so just release it. It's declassified. Just release it. Okay, yeah. Take out the victims' names. I think you've gone through those enough. I think those victims' names were pretty much redacted during Epstein's and Ghislaine Maxwell's trial, to be honest, except the witnesses. So all of those names have been redacted already. What else do you need to redact? You have video of people. You just don't want to release. And while we're talking about lists, can you please relay? Can you please release the names in Congress that has used the sexual exploitation payoff slush fund in Congress to the tune of $17 million of taxpayer money? Can you at least release those names? Because we know those names exist too. We know that slush fund exists. Can you release the names on that people in Congress that has used that slush fund to pay off their sexual exploits with the means and using taxpayer dollars? Can you at least do that? We want that list too. So here's Jamie Raskin getting a little choked up.
You could have gotten that from 21 to 25 when Democrats controlled the DOJ. Why? It was a crisis then. It's a crisis now. Why didn't Democrats call for it from 21 to 25?
So, I mean, you'd have to go back and look specifically at particular prosecutorial decisions and what was taking place in terms of the other cases. So I don't know. We could try to reconstruct that record. But the point is that Donald Trump is the one who has led the crusade to say that that Epstein, who was his very close friend, and there's all kinds of pictures of them.
Jamie, stop it. I think Jamie is on that list. I think Jamie Raskin is on the list. I know Jamie Raskin probably went to Epstein's house in New York. He's trying to play it off, but I think Jamie Raskin is on that list. So I'm going to play one more, I think, thing about, let me just double check about the Epstein. Then we're going to move on to to Obama. You guys remember when I did that show, and I read you the Tom Rentz piece about who is Obama, the first time he saw Obama, right? And I was asking who is Obama, right? Who is this guy that just came on the scene, right? He just popped on the scene, and it was years ago that they were in Russia, and this lady, matter of fact, I'm gonna pull that up, and I'm gonna read that before we get to the Obama thing. I'm gonna read that to you all again, but to give it some context, because people, they're using Obama's name, but they're not really going on it. Let me see. If I can get this. No. Let me see if they scrub this from the internet. All right, there it is right there. Cool. Okay, so I'm going to read that to you guys in a minute. All right, so this last, so I don't want you guys to fall into this either. So this is what they're trying to, this is one of the narratives that they're trying to fit in, and because if it was a hoax, they wouldn't be trying to, if it wasn't a hoax, I guess. So no, if it was a hoax, they wouldn't be trying to fit this narrative in. Carolyn said McDonald's sausage biscuits. They're trying to come as far as where the kids are. Melatonin, leather shoes, handbags, just for some. Oh my gosh. Carolyn is real though, man. Oh my God. Let me check Rumble real quick, man. Oh man. Jamie Cologne and Jackie. What's up, y'all? I see Jamie, my boy over there. And Jackie, glad y'all could tune in over there. I appreciate y'all. That's me, America Happens. It's just I'm on America Happens Network right now. And you can actually watch this show live on Rumble, on America Happens. You can watch on my channel, The Radical Republicans or Jerome Bell. And you can see it also on the Maverick News Network. Okay, the Maverick Broadcasting Network. You can see my show on there. The Maverick Broadcasting Network. And also live on Pickaxe. If you want to go over to pickaxe.com, and you can also sign up and support my channel, subscribe to my channel over there on Pickaxe, and you see this show live over there too. But here's one of the latest narratives that they want you to believe, that they want you to get caught up in, and I'm not buying it.
The day after the real proof drops, not rumors or flight logs, but undeniable footage of world leaders doing hideous, unmentionable things to children. The world reacts with horror. Governments crumble, markets collapse, chaos spreads. Why? Because when power is suddenly removed without a plan, a vacuum forms, and nature abhors a vacuum. Now imagine you hold that proof, evidence implicating presidents, billionaires, architects of global control. You could release it, or you could use it to force them to surrender, dismantle their networks, and retreat without war. That's not corruption, that's leverage. And leverage is how you remove power without triggering collapse. To the doubters who say Trump is on the list, ask yourself, if that were true, why did they deploy everything to stop him? Lawfare, fake investigations, a CIA-signed Russia hoax, even attempts on his life. If they had the leverage on Trump, they would have used it already. But they haven't, because they don't. I wish Trump didn't have to lie. I wish there were another way. Maybe this bizarre, out of sync with MAGA behavior is the wink and the nod. Maybe acting out of character is the message. This isn't about feelings. It's not about outrage or hashtags. It's about power and how it's strategically neutralized. You don't take down the Illuminati or New World Order with a lawsuit. You do it with leverage. Silent, invisible, world-shaping leverage. My friends, we are all anonymous, and welcome to the real world.
Dr. Marks here. I'm the gentleman that was on the Sean Ryan podcast that talked about pedophilia and explained how there are networks. This is coming from someone who, one, hunts pedophiles and protects children through our task force. This is the reality that I want people to understand. And the reason why the Epstein list will not come out, like I've said from the beginning, is because it is an intelligence operation. The best form of currency right now for control and power in our world is videos or pictures of children being abused by certain adults. When you have those as leverage, you can control a person to make decisions that will shape nations and truly make the difference in both political, legal, business, and world economics. The moment you prosecute a pedophile that would be on that list, you lose the leverage on them, and you also risk them telling the rest of the story.
So what do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about? Anybody want to call in before we get to the Obama stuff? Anybody? Let me know, man. I'll put the link up in the chat. But you guys have to let me know. What do you think about what that guy said? Are they using it for leverage? Bondi makes bar look good. My brother's keeper. So are they using it for leverage? You guys check that out. I give it a couple of minutes because I know there's a delay. So are they using it for leverage? Are they not releasing the list to use as leverage against world leaders? Hey man, you better sign this tariff deal, or then you're going to release the list. Is that it? If they don't do what you say, isn't that what the CIA does? Isn't that what the Mossad? Isn't that what these people on the video for? Blackmail? Isn't that what it's for? You know, I'm like, you know what? If a country collapses, fuck it, let it collapse. This shit, they hurt kids. So they're using it as leverage to make people, world order, and the Illuminati do what we want you to do. And if we don't, then and if we arrest them, then they're going to tell the whole. That's like Hillary Clinton say, if you arrest me, I'm bringing everybody down with me. That's why Hillary Clinton hadn't been arrested yet, right? Is that it? Is that the Hillary Clinton move? If you arrest me, I'm bringing everybody down with me. Bringing everybody down with me, right? So that's the mentality. That's the mentality. Do what I say. I mean, isn't that the same thing? Isn't that the same thing the Mossad is doing to our leaders here in this country, to our politicians? Isn't that why the Likud party is the third strongest party in our U.S. government? Isn't that why? Stop using excuses, man. We'll be okay. You know, if you take down one of the top, it's not going to collapse. Maybe some countries, maybe. Well, the list is so big, right? And this is what they're saying, right? This is what they're truly saying. It's not just one or two. The list is so huge and it's so big at the upper echelons of governments, of the elites. If you take them down all at the same time, things are going to collapse. And that's a sad way to say it, right? That's really, really bad. If it's that many and that high, that's really, really bad, right? So we're not going to let the Jeffrey Epstein thing go. I'm not going to let it go on my show. I hope others don't let it go. But you're going to see starting tomorrow, they're not going to talk about the list as much. They're going to be talking about this. They're going to be talking about the coup d'etat led by President Obama. And they're just hard at President Obama. But here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. If you guys are going after Obama this hard, you better go after that lady, Hillary Clinton, there first. She needs to be first because they James Comey, right? They're the one, Hillary Clinton, the one that paid for the Steele dossier. She's the one that paid for it. All of these people here need to be arrested and go to jail along with him if that's the case. All of them. All of them, because we knew there was a coup. We knew that. Hillary Clinton was the ringleader. I mean, Hillary Clinton needs to be arrested with what happened in Benghazi. All the way back. I mean, she had the server in her bathroom. She needs to be arrested for violating security clearances, right? There's supposed to be a 16-year plan to destroy America, right? Obama got checked off. Right? Weakened command generals. He did do all of this because I was still in the military when he weakened the military. I was still in. I was there. You know? Nuclearized North Korea and Iran. Iran is not nuclearized yet. Well, I think they are, but fund North Korea and Iran. Okay, and Clinton, she wasn't, like I said, they never thought she would lose, right? Ban sales. She wanted to ban sale of firearms. That was a big thing. Okay, but she helped. She helped with all of this as she was running for president. You know, she was in the State Department. She was the Secretary of State. She was Obama's handler as far as I'm concerned. He had a handler. And so now all of a sudden we have these emails and these things. I'm going to read a couple. Let me pop up another image file here and bring this up. All right, so this is what Tulsi Gabbard she found and released in classification top secret, but it shows on January 5th by briefing IC leadership on Russian hacking during the 2016 presidential election. This is from Susan Rice to Curtis Reed. Some more people. President Obama had a brief follow-on conversation with FBI Director Jim Comey and Deputy Attorney General Sally Yates in the Oval Office, Vice President Joe Biden. I was also present. So this is Susan Rice. So all of those people that was present need to be brought up on charges as well, right? Not just Obama, but they just keep throwing Obama's name out there. And I'm not defending Obama in no way, but it looked like they're trying to make the black dude take fall for everybody else's bullshit. Right. Seriously, the one thing Obama told, I guess Trump, the one thing he said was, you can't hire Flynn. You can't don't hire General Flynn. Trump did anyway. And they immediately went after Flynn, but that was the FBI that went after General Flynn. That was the FBI and the CIA because, being the national security advisor, he was there, man. And so he knew. So President Obama began the conversation by stressing his continued commitment to ensuring that every aspect of this issue is handled by the intelligence and law enforcement communities, said by the book. By the book, doing it the right way, I guess, right? The president stressed that he is not asking about initiating or instructing anything from a law enforcement perspective. He reiterated that our law enforcement team needs to proceed as it normally would by the book. This is, I guess, after they're talking about the transition of power here in 2016 after Trump won. From a national security perspective, however, President Obama said he wants to be sure that as we engage with the incoming team, we are mindful to ascertain if there is any reason that we cannot share information fully as it relates to Russia. So what they were doing, they were not briefing President Trump. The daily briefings, the CIA, the transition team, that was there. You had what's the freaking CIA director's name? I can't think of his name right now, but and the FBI director and all, they were not giving Trump his daily briefings about Russia. Okay, so this is one of the things. Okay, he was not getting those. Okay, Pompeo. So they were not giving Trump his daily briefing. So Director Comey, FBI, who also should be arrested and jailed, affirmed. Now, this is Comey. Director Comey affirmed that he's proceeding by the book. And they keep putting by the book in quotation marks, right? As it relates to law enforcement from a national security perspective, Comey said he does have some concerns that incoming NSA Flynn is speaking frequently with Russian Ambassador Kislyak. Well, Kislyak was Flynn's counterpart, okay? It was his counterpart. He's supposed to, talk to his counterpart. He was doing that. Comey said that Comey said that could be an issue. And why is Comey getting involved in this anyway? Because, if Flynn was talking to his counterpart, because this is a transition of power, wanting to make sure, hey, we cool, everything good, we're going to be respectful. We're going to have these talks when we get in, the America and the Russians, we don't have no issues, basically, right? I don't know the conversation, but that's probably what it was about. To sharing sensitive information, okay? They were saying that General Flynn may be sharing sensitive information, but, that's all a lie, right? President Obama asked if Comey was saying, and here's the thing, right? All this time, during this time, Hillary Clinton, and I'm going to pull that up too, Hillary Clinton and her team was trying to find dirt on President Trump or creating dirt on President Trump. That's how She got fined, her campaign got fined for paying for this Steele dossier, which they knew was a fraud. And they're blaming Obama. I haven't seen them mention Hillary Clinton's name one time this week. It's been Obama, Obama. They haven't mentioned Hillary because they know if they go after Hillary Clinton, they take her down. She's bringing the whole damn house down. She's already told them that. She's already told them that. If I go down, I'm bringing everybody down with me. So why aren't they mentioning Hillary Clinton this week? Let's see if they mention Hillary Clinton at all this week, or if it's just going to be Obama and this stuff that they found or supposedly, right? I think is, a little distraction from the Epstein thing, but okay, fine. Okay, we knew this happened, right? Okay, and they finally found proof, I guess, right? So Obama asked Comey if Comey was saying that the NSC, National Security Council, should not pass sensitive information related to Russia to Flynn. Comey replied, potentially. He added that he has no indication, none, thus far, that Flynn has passed classified information to Kislyak, but he noted that the level of communication is unusual. Comey is the one that should be in jail right now because he probably misled Obama. He misled Obama into this thing with Flynn because Obama was asking him shit he didn't know. He was asked, he can confide and ask Comey what was going on. The president asked Comey to inform him if anything changes in the next few weeks that should affect how we share classified information with the incoming team. Comey said he would. So my question is, how is that Obama's fault? How is this? How are they going after Obama right now? If he was asking Comey what was going on, and he asked Comey, hey man, just let me know. Just let me know if anything changes with Flynn and Kislyak that I need to be aware about so we can stop sharing information. They didn't tell Obama that. They stopped sharing information because they knew what was going on with Clinton. Okay. Here's another memo. Let's see what this one says. This is released by Tulsi Gabbard as well. This is Susan Rice Curtis, same thing. Okay, January 5th. Okay. Oh, okay. So they circled up, okay, buy the book, right? So they hitting to buy the book, ask about time or initially instruct anything from, okay, so that's the same thing. That's the same thing. Okay, so now I'm going to hit in some, let me jump in here to some video a little bit. Okay, let's hit this Tulsi on Obama first. Notice how they're I mean, and I can't say this enough, and I can't emphasize this enough, that whenever they mention Obama, they need to be mentioning Hillary Clinton as well. Hillary Clinton and she wasn't there in 2016, but that's because she was running for president. Okay. She was running for president and she was trying to get all this stuff on Trump. And I'm going to show you that in a minute as well. All right, but let's see. Let's pop this Tulsi Gabbard.
People who did not want to accept the will of the American people in electing Donald Trump in 2016 and therefore cooked up this treasonous conspiracy to, again, try to effectively, and they did effectively, launch a years-long coup against the sitting president of the United States.
Director Gabbard, I'm glad you used the word coup. I also, in some of your reports, the word treason has come up. We're seeing a lot of things coming to light these days, and it's very encouraging for Americans, especially this report, which so many of us knew this was a hoax. But this goes all the way to the top. I mean, this goes all the way to Barack Obama. Will we actually see someone as high up as Barack Obama take responsibility, be accountable, maybe face criminal charges? Is that a possibility here based on the documents that you've released?
Yeah, Rachel, the seriousness of, again, the implications and the consequences of these actions that were taken demand accountability. The American people not only deserve the truth and accountability, when we look at the future of our country as a democratic republic and the American people's ability to have faith that when they go and cast a vote at the ballot box, that the will of the people will be respected by those in government, whether they be Democrats or Republicans, this is literally what is at stake here. So we are referring all of our documents to the Department of Justice for the purpose of accountability and action. No one, no matter who they are, no matter how high up they are or how powerful they may be, no matter who the intelligence officials or professionals were who were a part of this treasonous conspiracy, there must be accountability. The truth must be shown to the American people in order to ensure that there is this faith and trust and integrity in our democratic republic for the sake of the future of our country.
I'm going to say this. Add this back. Not that one. Hold up. This guy needs to be first. This guy, James Comey, Sally Yates, John Brennan, James Clapper, Rod Rosenstein, Mueller, Valerie Jarrett, Susan Rice, Hillary Clinton. All of them need to go first. Andrew McCabe. I mean, all these people lie. All these people lie. Did Obama know? He may have, but did he know? He may have known, but he didn't initiate it. He didn't initiate it. Yeah, that's the one that's gonna go after the president. They say he knew. I'm gonna call bullshit. I don't think he knew. I think they kept it from him, to be honest, because in that memo he said, "Let's go buy the book," and he told Comey, "If anything changes, let me know." Okay, Comey did. Okay, and here's something. And here's on Clinton, right? So DNC, Clinton campaign agreed to steal dossier funding fine. So they fined her campaign because she knew, and I'm going to read this, that the steal dossier. So this is all the information that they were getting on Trump. It was Clinton that funded it, that paid for it, that went out and reached it. Okay, Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign, and the DNC have agreed to pay $113,000 to settle a Federal Election Commission investigation into whether they violated campaign finance law by misreporting spending on research that eventually became the famous Steele dossier. That's it right there. They paid for it through her campaign. So they hit her with a campaign finance violation because they paid for the Steele dossier with campaign finances. So why? Was there a Steele dossier anyway? What was that? The Clinton campaign hired Perkins Coie, which then hired Fusion GPS. You guys heard about this, launched 2016. Okay, a research and intelligence firm to conduct opposition research on a Republican candidate, Donald Trump's ties to Russia. But Barack Obama didn't hire Perkins Coie. Do you think that he knew beforehand, or what Clinton was doing when she hired Fusion GPS? And by intentionally obscuring their payments through Perkins Coie, so they tried to do it slickly through Perkins Coie to dig up dirt or create dirt on Donald Trump. The Steele dossier was a report compiled, if you don't know, British spy. And she went with the British spy, Christopher Steele. So they were operating with British spies, the Hillary Clinton campaign. I don't think Obama knew because Hillary Clinton wasn't the Secretary of State then. But you know who did know about it? James Comey knew about it. Pompeo knew about it. She financed by Democrats that included salacious allegations about Trump's conduct in Russia and allegations about ties between Trump, the Trump campaign, and Russia. So this was all concocted by literally Hillary Clinton and the people that worked for Hillary Clinton and the DNC. The DNC. Do I need to remind you who was part of the DNC? All those people I pointed out, and the FBI, right? So a special counsel assigned to investigate. This is where Mueller came in, right? And this is why I say if Trump was on the Epstein list, they would have filed that, used it then, because this is where the Mueller investigation came in, right? 2016, right after Trump was elected. And this is what they went to go use and try to impeach Trump and with the Ukraine stuff, right? So they charged one of the sources with lying to the FBI because the FBI, I guess, checked into it, right? In a meeting. Trump would rally against Jesse for years. Now, that was the hoax. So this was definitely a hoax. The Jeffrey Epstein thing is not a hoax. This was the hoax. And of course, we go through this and you have to go back and you look at all of this stuff, right? So all of this stuff started, to me, with the Clintons. So let me see if I know I got some more clips here of this, but I'm gonna hit Flynn live on this. Let me see something. Trump. Okay, so I'm gonna hit General Flynn live on this real quick on his live. It's a little bit. I'm not gonna play the whole 13 minutes, but we can check that out.
Vindicated when I see Barack Obama get, have
Amen.
Handcuffs on, being escorted from his house and being brought in.
And I will say this, courtesy of the War Room, for this clip with General Flynn, the great Steve Bannon.
Into jail. First of all, my hat's off to Tulsi Gabbard. I think Tulsi Gabbard just demonstrated a level, as I said this morning, of courage, commitment to being just absolutely transparent, which is what this administration has said from the beginning, and just getting to the truth. This very important meeting, it looks like, on December 8th is really the piece of data that I think has now been exposed to really allow everybody to connect the dots. As I said early this morning on my X post, basically I laid back out the plan, which was 8 years of Obama, 8 years of Hillary, and Steve, you and I wouldn't be having this conversation. And so once, enter summer of 2015 and so on and so forth, and Donald J. Trump wins the election, as you well know, in November of 2016, then, all the gates of hell were unleashed by Obama. And that's what we now know. Now, it's not just Obama. Of course, it goes back to the summer of 2016. And actually, what we're learning from this is actually goes back to late 2015, probably December 2015 timeframe. So what I want people to know from this is that there are going to be other names that have never been really exposed, people over at the National Security Agency, others inside of the FBI, others in the CIA that are going to be in big trouble here, because now that we know where it began, and it really did begin with the direction and intention of Barack Obama, that is going to open up so much more evidence. And as I know Tulsi has been doing for a number of months now, they've been culling through all this evidence. And that's why you saw recently the open investigation.
All right, here's a question, though. Here's a question. Obama was going out of the door. Obama was done. Obama was done. This was supposed to be Hillary Clinton's election. Now my question is, if Obama is going out of the door, he has no reason, he has zero reason to promote a coup against President Trump. Unless he's working for the DNC, unless he's working for the deep state cabal. Was he that deep state? Was he that deep state? Or was he just the president? He's going out the door. Why would he do? I don't. Now Obama is a lot of things. I don't think he's that stupid. I think it was a lot of people in and under Obama's administration, and they're trying to make him the fall guy. They're trying to make Obama the fall guy right now. But all signs, everything leads to everybody under Obama. I can guarantee they weren't briefing him on this stuff because he asked Comey, if anything changes, let me know. Comey didn't let him know. So they were concocting this. They were working behind the scenes with Hillary Clinton, Perkins Coie, the CIA, all of these people that thought Clinton was going to win. This is what they concocted. This is what they were looking up all the way up to the 2016 election. Why would Obama get involved in that? He's going out the door. He would be a damn fool. He would be a damn fool to get involved in something like that going out of the door. It makes absolutely zero fucking sense. It makes a lot of sense with everybody there because everybody that was under Obama's administration, right, would have probably still been in their seats if Clinton had won. And they knew they were all going out of the door because Trump had won 2016 and it was over. Trump upset their 16-year plan of domination, their 16-year plan to ruin America, and they were pissed off. They were mad. They concocted everything, and now they're using Obama as the... I don't think he knew. I don't think he was a part of it. Now, and I haven't seen everything that maybe Tulsi Gabbard has, right? And that's released, but the fucking 2 memos that they've released, the one memo, that I just showed you, that are released, that doesn't implicate Obama at all. It implicates Susan Rice and Comey than Obama. Obama said, let's make sure we do it by the book. He's on his way out of the fucking door. I'm sure he don't want to get caught up in no bullshit that's going to tarnish his reputation going out of the door. It makes zero sense. And you're not going to hear anybody. You're not going to hear anybody say this but me. You can watch Charlie Kirk. You can watch whoever the fuck you watch in the daytime. You're not going to see anybody say this but me. I don't think Barack Obama knew. The buck stops with him. He should have known because he was still the president of the United States. Or was he? He had just lost the election. He was leaving. This is in January 2016. He had 19 fucking days. They started this they say 2016, right? He had 19 days left in office. Why the fuck would he get involved with some bullshit like that? But it made sense for Hillary Clinton to do it. It made sense for everybody else because guess what? They stole the fucking election in 2020. Are we going to get to that? Are we going to get who stole the election in 2020? Are we going to get to that? Because it's going to be these same players and the same people in 2016 that they're blaming Obama for right now. Now, they say he was still the Democrat leader. I read this, right? So I say Obama was still the Democrat Party leader even after his second term. So was he in on it? Maybe. Was he truly did his third term as president in 16? I mean, like, come on, man. What? He was still the party leadership? Okay. You have to show me some more proof. You have to show me some more proof. Here, let me finish playing.
On Comey and Brennan. That's just the first shot across the bow for what I'm calling you can call it a counterpunch or you can call it a counteroffensive. But President Trump, you got to believe he's fully aware of all this. This is why, I think the last few days and maybe weeks, you've seen a level of frustration. And it doesn't mean that, everybody's off the hook on some of the other issues that we're dealing with. But this is the biggest crime in the history of the United States of America. As I said, I think it was yesterday, Steve, that, this is a moment that is really surreal for many people in the U.S. that never felt like we would ever go through or experience a coup. Basically, a coup which would take down a duly elected president of the United States by another individual. Now, I will tell you, and I've said this very publicly, you know, if you're going to stage a coup, you better kill the king. Metaphorically using that because he's not a king. He's the president of the United States, but twice we have seen assassination attempts on him, very public assassination attempts on him. You know, many people don't know of the other threats against his life. So they were not able to do that. They also, in my case, and I'll speak specifically for me, you know, I went through hell. My family went through hell, but they picked the wrong Irishman and they picked the wrong Irish family because we knew from the very beginning, you know, and Steve, I don't think we realized when we were first in the White House in the early days of 2017, just how deep these people and how much they were willing to go. And now what we're learning, and I've known this. I've just written just published a book on it called Pardon of Innocence because Trump had to use his pardon power to pardon an innocent man. Most people think I spent time in jail and was convicted. And, you know, my case was dismissed because of egregious government misconduct. So we now, you know, do I feel vindicated? I will feel vindicated when I see Barack Obama get, you know, have
Amen.
Handcuffs on, being escorted from his house and being brought in.
I'm sorry, and I said January 2016. This was actually January 2017, after the election, after Trump had won. So, so I just wanted to correct that.
To jail. I would say right now, if I were in the Department of Justice, or if I was in the White House, I would demand that the Attorney General immediately take away the passports from these individuals who we know have already been named. And there's some others that have not been named yet. Take away the passports. Do not allow them to leave this country, because I guarantee they're waking up, you know, this morning saying, where can I go? We got to get the hell out of here, because they committed a massive, massive conspiracy to undermine and overthrow the United States of America, the United States government, the president of the United States, and the presidency. And they left a wake in their path that is unprecedented.
We're on a three-prong attack here against the Murdochs on the civil charges to release everything about.
I'm going to pause that for a second because I want to share this screen real quick. I want to share this because this is what Tulsi Gabbard said. Let me see. Okay, I'm going to share this. Okay, so read this Tulsi Gabbard post, and I'm going to break something down here. And this is what I'm talking about not mentioning certain names. Okay, it may be, they need to go pull passports, pull everybody's passport. That works. But they don't have extradition law in Israel. Just remember that. So Americans will finally learn the truth about how in 2016 intelligence was politicized and weaponized by the most powerful people in the Obama administration to lay the groundwork for what was essentially a years-long coup against President Trump, subverting the will of the American people and undermining our democratic republic. Here's how. Okay. The creation of the Russian hoax. Who created that? I thought Hillary Clinton created that. Hillary Clinton, she paid Steele. As far as I know, Obama didn't pay Steele. Hillary Clinton paid Steele through Perkins Coie to get information. Okay. Real intel assessment. I hope you guys can see this. Real intel assessment. Russia and criminal actors did not impact recent U.S. election results by conducting cyber attacks on infrastructure. Okay, this is their little timeline or whatever, right? Okay. Donald Trump wins 2016 election. So supposedly, this is in November 2016, Trump wins the election. So supposedly, December 8th, POTUS briefing pulled. IC pulls product that contradicts Russia hoax narrative. So they wasn't briefing Trump on that, right? They pulled that. Obama order on December 9th. IC begins outlining new assessment to claim election was hacked. December 9th, secret Russia meeting. Obama officials meet to plan Russia hoax. That does not make sense. He lost the election. Trump was okay. So they're planning a Russia hoax. Rush about the election, okay? They're trying to say Russia interfered with the election somehow, okay? They're trying to say Trump was an illegitimate president. Everybody was saying that, right? Okay. So this is what they're saying. Obama officials used their media propaganda arm to spread fake news, fake weaponized assessments, suppress prior intelligence, showing Russia locked intent, Russia hoax. It doesn't make sense why that guy would do that and he had lost and he was leaving. He had just served 2 terms. What benefit would he get? Was he trying to help Hillary Clinton get elected, who just lost, who just paid for the Steele dossier? See, these are the questions that I would ask, right? These are the questions that I would ask. And this was sent, this one letter, like I read earlier, was sent on 1/20. So in January 2017, that says, from Susan Rice to Curtis Reed, basically says, hey man, now Obama not down with this. Obama say do it with the book, right? On January 5th, following a briefing by IC leadership on Russian hacking during the 2016 presidential election, President Obama had a brief follow-on conversation with FBI James Comey and Sally Yates. Biden was there too. Obama began the conversation. This is by stressing his continued commitment to ensuring that every aspect of this issue is handled by the intelligence law, by the book. So it sounds like to me, by this letter Susan Rice wrote to Curtis or whatever, with the it sounds to me that, maybe I'm reading this wrong. Am I reading this wrong? You guys help me out. So you guys help me out. Am I reading this wrong? It sounds like to me Obama wasn't down. That's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like to me Obama wasn't down. And I agree with you, Ted, over there on Getter. I see you. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing absolutely. Let's just put that clear. Nothing's going to happen. One, the Republicans are too spineless. And two, they got corruption on their side too. They're not gonna do anything to Obama. Nothing's gonna happen to none of these people. They've already let them retire with their pensions. And that was during Trump's first election, his first term. How many of those people on this list? Let me put this back up again. How many people on this list got to retire with their full pensions? And they knew about all these people when Trump got elected. Why didn't he pull security clearance, pensions? Why weren't some of these people got fired or let off, and they got Andrew McCabe. All these people got their pensions, all of them. So you're going to tell me they're actually going to do something? No, they're not. But we have to have this discussion. I think we have to have the discussion. But yeah, let's be clear. Obama's not going to jail. Let's just be clear on that. Obama's not going to jail. And none of these other people are either. So what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we trying to distract from, I guess, is what we really need to ask. What we really need to ask, what are we distracting from? What's going on to where we need a distraction? Because that's, in my opinion, is what this is. And I honestly think it's a distraction from Fauci being arrested. I guess, RFK came up with him. Where's that at? RFK came out. Okay, here, let me play this real quick.
Jr., a man who now has access to all the classified files, just told us that Anthony Fauci funded the creation of the virus, gave bioweapons technology to communist China, and then covered it up when millions of people died. This isn't just a conspiracy theory anymore. This is the official position of the United States government under President Donald J. Trump. The FBI believes it, the CIA believes it, the Department of Energy believes it. Fauci didn't just mishandle the pandemic, he caused it.
So why isn't Fauci arrested already? Why isn't Fauci arrested already? That's my question. That's what I want to know, right? I mean, so you see, and I played that to show you, okay, they can have all of this evidence. They have all the videos on Epstein. They can have the list. They have everything they need to prosecute and arrest some people. You know, I think people would be happy just seeing some people arrested, right? And I think, and you know, and if Obama, here it is, and if Obama was a part of it, I agree with you, Jackie. Jackie said, I wonder if Obama is going to spill the beans on everyone else. Shit, I'd be like Hillary Clinton. I'm telling on everybody, and I'm telling everything I know. So Jackie asked over there, I wonder if Obama is going to spill the beans on everyone else. You know, so I don't think nothing's going to happen to nobody. I'm going on the record. Yeah, people, well, we need to see. Yeah, it would be nice to see some arrest. Okay. It would be very nice to see some arrest. It would see, you know, some perp walks, right? Some 3 a.m. freaking SWAT teams and military going to, you know, break down and raid homes like they did President Trump and you know, Roger Stone and things like that. And I agree with you, Black Guns. We'll need to see publicly what Tulsi is citing as proof. Because I just read a letter. I mean, the only thing that she has released so far is that letter. And I read it, and that letter does not sound like to me Obama was down. Is Obama okay? So Thomas Healy, 87 over here on Gather. I'm a little confused on why Obama is suddenly selling their home. Which home? Shit, they got like 6 of them, bro. They got like 6 of them. And they say George W. tampers in our election to help elect rhinos long after. Yeah, I mean, shit. How often do people that's been out of office, like say like George W. tamper with our elections to get rhinos elected? How about that? You know? Yeah, when I say legacy, I mean every president has a legacy, bro. Whether it's good or bad. So when I say maintain his legacy, yeah, I mean he wants it to be to him. He may have had a good legacy. You have to think about it, bro. You have to think about Obama served 2 terms. Obama served 2 consecutive terms. So his legacy is greater than some presidents who's only served 1 term. I mean, so he does have a legacy, whether we want to admit it or not. He has a legacy. By our standards, it's a bad legacy, but by some, it may be a good one. By him, it may be a good one. I mean, shit, he's worth over $80 million. He had a good ass time. Yeah, he say they're not my brother's keeper. They ain't asking because it's not our business. I know, right? Sally Yates. You talk about Sally Yates or something. Obama had a handler, y'all. Okay, I'm gonna read this here. You know, I'm gonna here. I'm see, because a lot of people still don't believe this. I said this a long time ago. Obama was a kind. He's like they call him a Manchurian candidate. He was one of those people that got put in there, and you have to understand too, because there was a big thing. If you guys go back, I'm gonna try to wrap this up in 8 minutes, but I'm not. But if you guys actually go back and think about Hillary Clinton was pissed. Hillary Clinton was pissed that they nominated Barack Obama to be president in 2016. She was pissed, and they went on. From what I understood, Obama and Hillary Clinton disappeared for 3 days. They took them somewhere and read Hillary Clinton the riot act, whatever they did, read it to Barack Obama. They did this deal, and when they came back, everything was cool, and Hillary Clinton was going to be the Secretary of State. But she was pissed. Because you have to understand that it wasn't Trump or anybody. It was Hillary Clinton's campaign that actually started. Barack Obama was born in Kenya. You go back and check that out. It was actually the Hillary Clinton campaign with Bill Clinton that started the Barack Obama is Kenyan stuff. So I'm going to read this one more time. I read this on my show before. About who Barack Obama is, right? You know, the first time I heard of Barack, this is Tom Rentz. Let me show you. So this is Tom Fife, Rentz.com, Rentz News. So this is Tom Fife. Tom Fife did in 2008. In 2008. So this is, he wrote this 2008, I guess around election time, right? A little after election time. So during the period of roughly February 1992 to mid 1994, I guess he really didn't think about it until the guy got elected, right? I was making frequent trips to Moscow, Russia, in the process of starting a software development joint venture company with some people from the Russian scientific community. One of the men in charge on the Russian side was named VM. He had a wife named TM. Of course, he's not releasing names. V was a level-headed scientist, while his wife was rather deeply committed to the losing communist cause, a cause she obviously was not abandoning. One evening during a trip early in 1992, the American half of our venture were invited to V&T's Moscow flat as we were about to return to the States. The party went well, and we had the normal dinner discussions. I love Moscow. I've been to Moscow. Moscow is cleaner than some places in the United States. You know, Moscow is more advanced, really more advanced than we are here in the United States on a lot of things. A lot of things. Moscow is clean. You can go into Moscow. So I don't know if you guys saw the Tucker Carlson thing when he was on the subway. We rode that subway when me and my crew was over in Moscow. We rode that subway, and it's clean. And we were foreigners, and we didn't feel unsafe, not one bit. I mean, we had KGB following us too, but for our safety. But I didn't feel unsafe in Moscow, not one bit, man. The only thing was, we was hoping it happened, right? But we had to carry our papers and our passport with us. We were walking across Red Square one night, going back to the hotel, actually going to the restaurant, the big, I guess, cathedral, whatever that is. And this guard, they got guards, and the guard said, let me see your papers. Come here. Let me see your papers. We thought that was the coolest shit, man. Took out our passports, our orders and shit, showed it to him. He was laughing. So it was kind of cool, right? I actually met a Russian military guy there on the subway, man. We traded little head trinkets and stuff, and I gave him my patch off my flight jacket that I was wearing. So, it was cool, man. We actually stayed there. Anyway, so as the evening wore on, T developed a decidedly rough anti-American edge, one her husband tried to quietly rein in. The bottom line of the tirade she started against the United States went something like this. You Americans always like to think that you have the perfect government and your people are always so perfect. This is the sentiment around the world. Let me tell you, I've been on every continent. I've been in every major city, country, whatever you want to say. This is the sentiment around the world. Let me tell you. Okay. Well, then, why haven't you had a woman president by now? You had a chance to vote for a woman vice president and you didn't do it. I guess that's when Hillary Clinton was running for vice president or something. The general response went something along the lines that you don't vote for someone just because of their sex, Besides, you don't vote for vice president, but the president and vice president as a ticket. That's what he said. That was his response. Well, I think you're going to be surprised when you get a black president very soon. The consensus we expressed was that we didn't think there was anything innately barring that. The right person at the right time, and sure, America would try to vote for the right person, be he or she black or not. What if I told you that you will have a black president very soon and he will be a communist? The out of the blue remark was met by our stare. She continued, well, you will, and he will be a communist. It was then that the husband unsuccessfully tried to change the subject, but she was on a roll and would have nothing of it. One of us asked, it sounds like you know something that we don't. Yes, it is true. This is not some idle talk. He is already born and he is educated and being groomed to be the president right now. You would be impressed to know that he has gone to the best schools of presidents. He is what you call Ivy League. Well, Barack Obama supposedly did go to Columbia and Harvard Law School. You don't believe me, but he is real. And I even know his name. His name is Barack. His mother is white and American, and his father is black from Africa. That's right, a chocolate baby. And he's going to be your president. She was drunk, by the way, I think. She became more and more smug as she presented her stream of detailed knowledge and predictions so matter-of-factly, as though all were foregone conclusions. And we know a lot of these things are, man. These people get selected. You wonder, man, how do these people just come in and get in these offices, get selected? I mean, you had Glenn Youngkin come in Virginia. You got Jasmine Crockett. You get all these people, man, that just get selected in these offices, right? I think Donald Trump was actually one that actually won, I think, by votes and stolen because Joe Biden didn't get 81 million votes. She became more and more smug as she presented her foregone conclusions. It's all been thought out. His father is not an American black, so he won't have that social Slav stigma. He is intelligent. He is half white and has been raised from the cradle to be an atheist and a communist. We all know his mother and his grandparents were communists. We do know this. This is facts. He's gone to the finest schools. He is being guided every step of the way, and he will be irresistible to America. Yeah. Wow. And he was I mean, shit. And he got 98% of like all American votes or something, right? That's why Hillary Clinton was mad. But anyway, we sat there not knowing what to say. She was obviously very happy the communists were doing this and that it would somehow be a thumbing of their collective noses at America. They would give us a black president and he'd be a communist to boot. Some made it quite obvious that she thought that this was going to breathe new life into the world, communism. From this and other conversations with her, she always asserted that communism was far from dead. And we know that. I've already read the 45 read-in statements to Congress here on the show. We know that we are living through some communist things here in the United States. We are still in a communist battle here in the United States. I mean, look at the mayor candidate in freaking New York. Look at this Somali dude that just won the Democrat nomination for mayor in Minnesota and freaking Minneapolis. Live and well, people, live and well. She was full of little details about him that she was eager to relate. I thought that maybe she was trying to show off that this truly was a real person and not just hot air. She rattled off a complete litany. He was from Hawaii. He went to school in California. I think that was accidental. He lived in Chicago. He was soon to be elected to the legislature. Have no doubt he is one of us, a Soviet. At one point, she related some sort of San Francisco connection, but I didn't understand what the point was and don't recall much about that. I was just left with the notion that she considered the city to be some sort of center for their activity here. Since I had dabbled in languages, I knew a smattering of Arabic. I made a comment. If I remember correctly, Barak comes from the Arabic word for blessing. That seems to be an odd name for an American. She replied quickly, yes, it is African, she insisted. He will be a blessing for world communism. We will regain our strength and become the #1 power in the world. She continued with something to the effect that America was at the same time the great hope and the great obstacle for communism. America would, and the Trotskyites, I mean, you got to look at, if you understand who Trotsky is, Trotsky came over and they subverted the civil rights movement and they used the plight of black people to actually bring in communism here to America in the United States. And they used that. They subverted, like say, you had the Communist Party USA, and they blended in and used the plight of the black people to help bring in communism. I said I was going to do a black people communism show, but man, it's so much. I would really have to sit down. I don't have the time to do it. But that's it. So you look up Trotsky and the Trotskyites and what happened and how they used the civil rights movement and the plight of black people to bring communism here to the United States. She continued with something to the effect that America was at the same time the great hope and the great obstacle for communism. America would have to be converted to communism, and Barack was going to pave the way. And you've seen the thing with Yuri Brezhnev, right? I mean, you've seen that. I played that on the show. If you haven't, go check that out. I mean, he said that that communism is only one generation away. So, what does this conversation from 1992? This was 1992 when he said he was having this conversation. Well, it's definitely anecdotal. It doesn't prove that Obama has had Soviet communism training, nor that he was groomed to be the first black president. But it does show one thing that I think is very important. It shows the Soviet Russian communists knew of Barack from a very early date. It also shows that they truly believed among themselves that he was raised and groomed communists to pave the way for their future. And it does. This report on Barack came personally to me from one of them long before America knew he existed. Although I had never heard of him at the time of this conversation, Obama was 30 years old and was obviously tested enough that he was their anticipated rising star. And that's from Tom Fife. So whether you believe it or not, I mean, it's an interesting piece. It's definitely an interesting piece. And Carolyn, I don't know where Fauci is. Where is Fauci? He probably long gone. I haven't seen his Airbus go over for a little while. Yeah, it was verified. Even got a picture of it because of gut instinct. Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's the piece on Barack 1-3. So a lot of shit's going on here, in the United States. A lot. Only thing I say is do your own research. Keep your eye on Israel. Keep your eye on the Democrat Party. Keep your eye on the Republican Party. Keep your eye on the United States government, man. I mean, this is just, I used to say, just another struggle session for normies. This is all about, like they said, that they were trying to take down the United States in 16 years. They thought Barack Obama was going to be, he did 2 terms, and then Hillary Clinton and everyone thought she would do 2 terms. And they put in a system. Was Barack in charge of it? That's what they're trying to say. But I want to see arrests. I think other people in the United States want to see arrests, because here's the bottom line. And thank you for all the new people that's tuning into the show. I see some new faces over, especially on Getter. Thomas Healy, thank you. Black Guns, I appreciate y'all. Hey, share the show, man. Share the show. I appreciate y'all, coming in, checking out. And don't forget, man, hit that Venmo and and that Cash App. Yeah, Trotsky was eventually assassinated by Stalin while he was exiled in Mexico. Absolutely, Black Guns. Black Guns knows a little history. I love it. I love it when smart people come up in the chat. Obama was a junior first-term senator when selected. Yeah, and that's the thing, and that's why Hillary Clinton was so mad, and that's why they had to go away for 3 days. Obama was a junior first-term senator, one-term senator. So, I mean, everything that we know about Barack Obama now, it seems like that piece from Tom Fife was true. And I read that for the first time in 2008. I read it on my show, I think, a year or two. How can a junior senator, first-term junior senator, get the Democrat presidential nomination? And they actually put Barack Obama out there when he gave the Democrat National Convention speech. You guys remember that? The year before I think he ran, or the year he was running for senator. They put him. That's when they put Barack Obama out there, and everybody bought this shit, hug, line, and singing. It wasn't just black people. It was a whole bunch of white people. I don't know if it was this white guilt thing. We need a black president, right? There's a whole bunch of white people that voted for Barack Obama twice. So, but I appreciate y'all tuning in. Thank you. We're here every Sunday. Next Sunday I might be a little late, y'all. I have something to do next Sunday, and I'll be done at 4:00. But I have to travel a little bit, so I may be in right at 4:00 my time, 6:00 Eastern Standard Time. But so I might be running in at 8:00 Eastern Standard Time. I'm gonna try to prepare the day or night before. Sometimes my systems don't work like the music. I don't know why the music isn't working too well on this system. It works better on my other computer. So I'm going to try to go out, like we always go out. And if it doesn't sound right, I apologize. Maybe I'll go back to my system next week, my other computer, where the music sounds a little better, because I heard the music was choppy on this computer, and I think it has something to do with, I don't know if it's connections or what, but I apologize in advance. But I'll switch back over next week, because I know you guys love the music. So we're going to go out. I appreciate that. I'll see y'all next week, hopefully sometime. If not, if it's to where I can't make it, maybe I'll put up a replay of the show. And but until then, love y'all. Peace. I'll see y'all next week. Keep your eyes on swivel. Remember what I said. They're going to try to sweep the Epstein stuff under the rug. Keep the Epstein stuff out forward and up front. Make sure it does not get memory hold, because we need to protect these kids. These are about the kids. And so y'all be cool. I check out. And the music sounds good in my ear. I hope it sounds good in yours too. So y'all be cool. Peace. I'll see y'all next week.
No matter my pain, I'll be there in a hurry. You don't have to worry, just baby, let me know. To keep getting me to stay. Remember the day I set you free. I told you to things down on me, darling. Let me hold. I'll be there when you want me to break somehow. Oh, baby, forget to take it away. Oh, darling, don't get all winter cold. Can't stop.